What up, team? It's Nelly here with a quick Highlander Gauntlet tournament report. So, if you're not familiar, Highlander Gauntlet is a format started off in Los Angeles, California, that demands the players each bring 6 decks to the match, to the battlefield. Anyways, and no cards can repeat in any of the decks except for the basic lands. So it's a real deck building challenge. 6 decks, and then your opponent will roll each time it's time to play a game. You'll re-roll if you've already played that deck, or just reduce the number of pips on the dice you're using or whatever. Anyways, you play a random deck each time, and you play best 2 out of 3. I started off the experience of building a wheel, it's called, for the first time. Your wheel is your 6 decks, by looking into cards that have been recognized by Canadian Highlander as being strong enough to be worth pointed, or a problem for some reason that we point them, and then figure out which of those are legal, because the Highlander Gauntlet banned list is just the reserved list. So the reserve list is an old list written out by WotC to let collectors know that they can still safely invest in the game, because they're never going to reprint these cards. And they actually have broken it a couple of times, but for the most part, they don't ever reprint cards on the reserve list. So those cards are expensive. And these are the cards that aren't reserved, but that Canadian Highlander players have felt, hey, these should go on the points list. They're broken or whatever, right? We've got some fast mana, incredible interaction, some of the best ways to stop what your opponent's doing, as well as ways to cheat on mana if you're not fast manning, tutors, and some win conditions. So, what happened in my tournament? Okay, so in round 1, I played against another Canadian Highlander fan by the name of Nick. Their first deck was a Sanctum Stompy build, I think as close to Surge's most recent list that we've seen on North 100 as possible, given the constraints of Highlander Gauntlet. I played my medium Boros deck, and we had a really close match. I had some pressure. It was back and forth, but ultimately Nick got enough enchantresses out and drew enough cards that I wasn't able to get there, and so I lost that first game. In the second game, I played my blue-white Miracles deck, and I ran into Nick's, which was it again? Boop, boop, boop. Nick's Gruul Prowess. Okay, so this one was somewhat close. I did get beat down a bit, but then I managed to stabilize with Comeuppance, if I recall correctly. I think this was a Comeuppance game. So this Sword of Wrath of God did a lot of work. This one's nice because if they had sorcery speed burn post combat, you can stuff that too if you cast this during combat. And then I remember this game. I don't know which effect it was, but somehow I managed to have multiple copies of Boonbringer Valkyrie. So I had one out, and then I think I backed up the other one and attacked for 6 lifelink, and then it was kind of curtains. In the third game, Nick was piloting Esper Thoracle, and I had my black deck, which I call Demon Storm. But it includes a Storm win with tendrils, although most of the time you're just kind of playing sort of medium good stuff. Like the central card of the deck is probably just the One Ring. It's the deck in the Highlander Gauntlet I chose to put my One Ring in, and it's just sort of doing black things. So in this game, I didn't get comboed out, and my opponent's life total fell in chunks of 3. So I believe what happened, I don't remember this game super clearly, but I think we got like either the Bat or Turak or Grief down, and then, hand attack's very good against combo, and we eventually got there. All right. In my second match, I played against Sebastian. I also rolled the black deck again, and this time Sebastian was playing Mardu tokens, and the life total pad was very back and forth. Had to start it a second time because the tokens and the black creatures were both attacking. I think we did eventually get a One Ring down in this game, and then that's what closed it out. Eventually just an overwhelming amount of card advantage against the token deck, but this was a real match. Very, very magic. And then in game 2, I had to play my Hoof deck, the Elves and Lands package deck, against Blue Moon. And I believe what happened in this game is we had an early natural order for Dragonlord Atarka to deal with one Planeswalker, and then Atarka got in uncontested after that. Like they didn't quite have enough. I didn't quite have an answer for this, even though as I'm like laying out other threats, I don't know if I ever attacked with anything else besides Atarka, and that sealed the deal. In my third round, I played against Ari, and I need to give Ari a huge shout out because my third round is a bit of story time. So this event took place at Magiccon Las Vegas, which I was attending as a guest of Wizards with other members of the Luminary Run. in exchange for, we had to sing for our supper, doing a signing, which, I would love to do anyway. Like any time we've done these meet and greet appearances at Magiccons, they've been super rewarding. It's fantastic to see all the fans that show up. Everyone is at the very minimum been like super courteous, and then sometimes people are just like falling apart, having like emotional breakdowns about how excited they are to see us, and so like that's very, very touching. Thank you. Anyway, so I'm double booked trying to play this tournament and show up for that. And so it happens that 10 minutes into round 3, I need to be on like the other end of the convention center. And so I'm like, okay, it's paired. I'll sit down. I'll play some Magic. But 10 minutes into this game or match, I have to concede no matter what. And Ari, bless their heart, just managed to play fast. And I also played fast. In round 1, I rolled the black deck against Ari's food, and this was super back and forth, and we just hit each other a bunch. I don't remember any other details, but both our life totals went down, and I was eventually the winner. Ari, if you're watching and you want to comment, please tell me what happened in that game if you remember it. I know that it was a blur because we both played quickly, and I really appreciate that. In game 2, I played Bant Nadu against Ari's some kind of red deck, and I'm pretty sure in this game, the signature legendary creature got to kind of do their thing. And we did draw 100 cards with Bird, and then Ari conceded. And then I like scooped up all my cards as fast as possible and got the heck out of there. I had to like run down an escalator. I didn't die, but I was the last person into the room for the signing appearance. So then in the 4th round, I'm supposed to get paired against Parker, who's also 3-0 in the tournament, but I'm not there. And I like text Ben Bateman, shout out to Ben Bateman for running this thing, that, if he wants to drop me from the tournament, that's totally fine. Like, I'm there as a creator, and if I'm done now, that's okay. Or if he wants to let me play and like probably make top 4 because I was 3-0, then great. I'll come back when I can. And so it takes me an hour and a half because that's how long I'm there. And then when I get back, they haven't even played the top 4 yet. So I actually had time to play some fun games with Bateman, and he crushed me, I think. And also it was the only time I got to roll my Grixis Welder deck. But then in the top 4, I get paired with Parker again. For the first game, I'm playing my Bant Nadu deck, and I'm up against Parker's Green Stompy. And this one, I don't remember the game super well, but probably, again, I think we leaned on Nadu, or maybe it was able to deal with Nadu, but we got a bit too much advantage. Yeah. Sorry, I don't remember the details of this one too much. In the second game, we both are playing a green mana acceleration sort of hoof deck. I chat with Parker, and I think Parker is playing Natural Order, but not for Crater Hoof, just getting the big Atarka. This game was wild. I'm on the draw because I've won game 1, and I have a hand that accelerates and gets out an early, either turn 2 or turn 3 Minsc and Boo. Like, I think I had a Chrome Mox in my hand. Does this deck have the Chrome Mox? No. Okay, maybe it was just turn 3, but it was like a great-looking hand with a fast Minsc and Boo. And Parker's start is even faster, and he soon has, like, Springheart Nantuko on something scary and lots and lots and lots of mana as well, and I lose this one. So really great back-and-forth hoof matchup. And Parker takes it down. Going into game 3, I get to play my Boros deck again, and Parker is on an Esper Thoracle type build, or maybe it was some sort of multiple combos deck. And this one's close, but being on the play really helped, and the crucial moment was me getting to play and activate my Wasteland. I think the Wasteland's in this. Yeah, there it is right there. Getting to activate Wasteland so that Parker can't untap and play a land to get to 4 mana. Like, it's like my turn 3. Or maybe it might have been my turn 4. Take off Parker's 3rd land because I'm on the play of this game. And then Parker can't play his Sheoldred, which would have stuffed the game for me. At least it would have at least made us play a bunch more. Maybe Parker can combo win after that. I can't win the following turn if he's allowed to play a Sheoldred because I'm doing regular early drop stuff like attacking with Robber of the Rich and Monastery Swifter. That's like my game was looking pretty normal. I think I might have had a Flame Tongue Kavu, which is like a pretty awkward answer to Sheoldred, obviously. So but the Wasteland meant that my creatures keep attacking, and then I win those semifinals. The finals, I'm up against Eric, one of the players who's been playing the format for a really long time. For the first game, I roll my Boros deck again. I'm up against Eric's Soldiers deck. So I believe this is mono white. It might have been a splash, but I remember this game early on. He's got the 1 white mana, like Gideon's Lawmaker tapping creature, and also later there was a Esper Sentinel. So little creatures that do stuff that matters. I managed to have a burn spell for the Sentinel so that Eric can't take the game over with card advantage. But like they did get to, or he did get to draw at least one card, and this game was like really interesting and fair. I made a hilarious punt against the 1 mana Gideon where I just forgot that for 3 mana it can become indestructible, and I lost a creature for that. But Eric made some other punt that wasn't quite as bad, and we just really got to play Magic in this one. Like sort of felt like a game of draft. Like it was very close, and combat needed to be figured out every turn. I eventually get there. In game two, I have a really hilarious Demon Storm game where like I'm looking at my tendrils, I think, in my opening hand, and then I mulligan, and I keep like a hand that has the ill-gotten gains and like maybe a tutor, and so I'm like kind of trying to set up for and do the Hoarding Broodlord combo, but I forget which deck Eric is on here. Did I write it down? Yeah, I don't remember which deck Eric was on. I think also a blue deck or a blue-black deck, and I lose this one. I get comboed out or I get attacked to death. But the vibe of this game was the halls closing. Like when we're playing this game, this Highlander Gauntlet tournament, which by the way didn't have timed rounds. It was like pretty small attendance, less than 30 players, I think. And Bateman just wanted to make sure everybody got to play Magic. And so the finals is happening as like the hall security is like coming through and like kind of like bullying us, like just trying to like repeatedly tell us to get out as they're like doing other things, like going around and making sure everybody has access to the machinery or whatever they need to break this room down at this convention center. And like the hall's closed. Like there's a few stragglers, creators, people who are running booths or whatever that are still walking out at this point. Like we see some familiar faces leaving, but everyone's leaving. And so I lose this game pretty quickly. And Eric and I think Eric proposes a split and I accept. And I'm like, okay, let's split the prizes. But then Bateman still wants like a winner of the tournament. So here I am. I lose that game. Third game, I'm playing the Hoof deck against Eric's Artifacts, like Tinker, probably combos deck. And I think I see a tutor for a Tinker really early. Like it was like play Seed of the Synod, cast Personal Tutor, put Tinker on the top on Eric's turn 1 after I've played a Land Royal for something. And then I'm like, okay, well, this could be bad. This is very scary. And then I draw, like on my turn 2, I draw the oof. Sorry, what are we called again? Not Crater Hoof Behemoth. Right next to it, though, it starts with a C. Collector Oof. I didn't even have to tutor for it. So that was extremely lucky on my part. So I get to slam this Oof. Now I've shut down your lands, essentially. And then I get another creature of something, and I pressure, and I can win from there. So, champion, first place of the first Highlander Gauntlet tournament I played. Great people, great experience. I really enjoyed it. I'd love to get to play again. Thanks again to Ben Bateman for putting it together. And I already have a bunch of thoughts about how I would make my wheel differently, or what I did wrong in this one. The experience, if you haven't tried it yet, of building a Highlander Gauntlet wheel was pretty fun. It was a bunch of work. Like I put several hours into it, probably at least 10 the week before, in terms of like thinking through what I'm going to play, making these deck lists I've just shown off. Oh, speaking of, actually, I didn't ever show you the final deck and the wheel because I never drew it for the entire tournament. So I guess let's put it on screen before I say goodbye. But yeah, probably at least 10 hours making these deck lists and then finding all the cards, putting them all together. And then I did a thing too. I don't know if everybody does this, but I put them all into one big giant deck list to try to make sure that I didn't double up on anything, which is like ends up being this kind of hilarious looking file that's 600 cards, right? There it is. And you just have to scroll through and see if there's a 2 on any of your cards, and then you know that you're cheating. But that's it for this tournament report. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye.